It's 17:06 GMT. This is Paula Mosulo with Focus on Africa from the BBC World Service. A government workers' strike in Liberia. Is it on or not? So, what has the government had to say about all this? Eugene Nagbe is the Information Minister of Liberia.
Well, the government of Liberia has been implementing its responsibilities to pay civil servants. As you know, we have tough economic conditions in our country right now, which has affected our ability to meet payroll on time. But in spite of that, currently, as I speak to you, civil servants are being paid through the direct transfer to their accounts for the months of October and November. We've spoken to the Civil Service Association and agreed with them in the past that because of the constraints we have, these 2 months, that is October and November, will be paid, and then early next year we will pay the amounts we owe for December. We have been meeting that portion of our responsibility. So currently today, right now, I just left my office. There are many of my employees who are at work. Others have gone to the banks. So I don't think this strike, is as some people foresaw it to be.
So you're saying, so I'm sorry, are you saying that one, that you have paid this money that you owed these workers, or that two, you haven't yet paid it because you're in the process of paying it and some workers, according to you, are ignoring the strike call?
Many workers are ignoring the strike call because they get the alerts in their bank accounts that the government is meeting up with this obligation as we promised. We have not lied to the civil servants. We said because of the constraints that we have in the country today, we will pay for 2 of the 3 months that they are owed. So October and November, the payments are being made. But there is a bigger issue, Paula. Some of these people who are these opposition politicians who are pushing for this are the very ones who just left government and who can attribute the cause for some of the problems that Mr. President is dealing with today.
And what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Because the president inherited a dire economic situation and he has been taking the right measures, putting into place the right policies. So most of the civil servants understand the situation and therefore this strike has really fallen flat. In fact, I've just received a text message from the head of our Ministry of Civil Service who told me that the head of the association now is with him.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much. This is the general himself, and I'm trying to change my format here. Yep. This is Munel Kishen, your general. This is Conversation with the general himself, and we are here to discuss and talk about our beautiful country, the beautiful country so far on earth. We got everything that any country can boast about. But what we don't have is leadership. That is why we're going through a lot of stuff today. And because of lack of leadership kills the country. Lack of vision kills the dream of our young people because our leaders do not have it. It's just like you're in a house and you got your kids and the kids expect the father or the mother to tell them what to do, to give them the best advice ever, but they don't, so they are self-read. So that's what we're going through today. We are all self-read people. But it is hurting. Eugene Namba is doing his job as minister, there to lie for the government. But I don't think he need to go on social media or even take that interview to lie to the Liberian people that civil servants has already taken pay and the protests will not go anywhere. But what they don't realize is that they're just sending the message out to the world and the people in Liberia know what's up. I will not call my friend name. One of my friends went home to visit and he's a big seditious. He said he went there, he started to discuss with some guys and try to press George Weah. He said one of their kids almost beat him up. He said the boy literally put slapping his ears. And that's what really funny, you know. But when he came back, his whole mindset with the whole George Weah thing changed. He changed. Look, my people, we all love this president. We all love this president, but this president continue to fail, continue to make mistakes. Look, we want roads, we want hospitals, we want better schools for our kids. We want our people to get jobs. We want for our people to be able to move around freely. Do you think that everything is fine in Liberia? No. Can you tell me that where Ellie Johnson left this country, as much as we don't like Ellie, but where she left this country, Liberia, is Liberia still the same or have gone bad or worse? You see, when a leader using the word I, it is a problem. Whenever a leader talking about I did this one, and his supporters want to see him succeeding. But the way they talk about the succeeding, as if George Weah is the man. He only need to succeed and forget about Liberia succeeding. George Weah can build roads and there should be no school. George Weah can build roads. The people don't have pay. They don't have food to put on the table. George Weah can build roads and at the same time he lavished all the money on himself. That's what his supporters want. And everything he's doing is only benefiting his supporters because it's not that they're enjoying it physically, but that is what they want. We don't care if George Weah is going to stay in power for 12 years. But if George Weah telling Liberian people, whether you like it or not, I'm going to be the next, I will still win the election come 2023, then he just put it in your face that you people and us, we are stupid. Because how can a man in 2 years cannot show you what he did? You only want to show me the road that he paved? You only want to show me that, oh, because the president wore one of the best clothes, he's the best dressed African president according to you? Oh, he's the first one to put one flat and 14 hospital. The name 14 hospital, how it came about? Because his number 14 jersey. So it's all about George Weah. If George Weah really got a mindset that he wants to run for 12, he wants to be president for 12 years, that's not how a man who wants to be president for 12 years can behave. What George Weah is telling you, that I will be president for 12 years, no matter what. You can't do a damn thing. I will remain there. I will steal the election. And the next come 2023, I will be the next president again. That's what he's trying to tell you. He said you are stupid people. You are ignorant. You know nothing. Liberian people quick to forget. Yes. That's what George Weah is rubbing in your face indirectly. How can a man come and tell you in a church that if you bring war to Liberia, you will suffer, me and my cabinet will leave. We will find means to leave the country. Yes. And why they talking about war? Why are we preaching about war? War can never see the daylight in Africa, in Liberia. Seriously. April 14, 1979, the protest, the rice riot brought war to Liberia. Was there war in Liberia April 14? Yes, after the police misbehaved and Vanny Desta did the first shooting, everybody went helter scatter and looting took place. It happens in other country. It happens. Because if the government don't know how to control themselves, but gone are those days where the government can just yell and everybody keep quiet. George Weah is not the man we know. George Weah is not the man we know. The man that told us that he want to put Liberia first. The man that said that he want to help small businesses. The man who's saying that there will be freedom of speech and freedom of the press in Liberia. But is there freedom of speech in Liberia? No. We don't know who's in control of Liberia. Everybody making speeches. Everybody making a speech. They are all members of the Catfish family. They are all. So what's going on? George, because of power, George Weah changed. But you guys don't know that is the real George Weah. George Weah don't have it within him. He don't have that heart as a leader that put his people first. Because Liberians, we are the worst. I'm telling you, we just a different group of people. We overrate people for no reason. Joshua became president of Liberia because he took his time to play soccer for Liberia. Joshua became president of Liberia because he was the only celebrity that went home and sit with the kids and play football and say what he wanted to say. Joshua became president because he never turned down Lone Star games. But Joshua never got that position because of what he did for Liberia. So how can you tell me what he did for Liberia? What George Weah really did for the wonderful Liberia. Every day we talk about George. I know people will get mad at us, but the problem in Liberia today, let us start fooling ourselves. George Weah makes every appointment. George Weah makes every appointment in our country. If they are not performing, it's on him. It's on him. I don't care who George Weah appoints. If George Weah want to take the least person and give them a job, that is right as president. But if they are not performing, who's supposed to be responsible? The president. He's supposed to be responsible. But they say, oh, we talk about George Weah too much. We talk about George Weah too much. No. But we'll talk about George Weah. We'll talk about George Weah and his officials and other elected officials until they can change. Until they can respect the people who they go to, who they beg for votes during the elections. Going from counties to counties, walking all in the mud. That is why people don't respect politicians. Because people say, oh, you guys doing the same thing. You guys doing the same thing. Oh man, all the guys who complain against George Weah, when they dead tomorrow, they will not do, they will do the worst. That's how people thinking. Yes. We had Ellen there, we said the same thing. But what's going on? Anyway, my name is Munel Kishen. I'm the general. We are here to discuss today. Is George Weah doing good? Is George Weah, as the CDC sedition says all the time, that he's the best president so far? George Weah have done a lot for Liberia than any president in the history of Liberia. That is the sedition. Or is CDC getting more members? Or they losing members? Which one? I will open the phone line and you can come and give me your view. What I say today got nothing to do with the LRTN. I'm broadcasting through the Sharing Foundation. The LRTN is a Liberian-owned network. They operate in Liberia and all over. And you can also contact us. If you want to watch this program, you can go on YouTube. Just put in LRTN. You'll get it on YouTube, on Twitter. Right now, as I speak to you, it's going live on Twitter and YouTube. But we got other network that we broadcast on. This is not just the ordinary, but right now I'm broadcasting through Facebook. But this is just a special thing where it's not that I can bring you on camera and I can only put you on the phone and we will discuss. And today, if we're going to talk, we'll limit it to 2 minutes. And I want to have enough people coming in to be able to give their views. But my views represent myself. I'm just only got a slot or spot on the LRTN, like any other thing. So this is the general himself, and I'm here to discuss Liberia. I'm not a military man. I know sometimes people ask, but you know, if you're a general before, you always be a general. I was once Inspector General of Liberia Ministry of Labor. The same way, if George Weah leave office today, his name will be in that book as former president of Liberia. I'm a former general of Ministry of Labor, and nobody can erase it. You can talk, you can never be erased. The history is there to prove itself. So that's it. But Liberia, I think we're having a leadership problem. That is why all these things going on. We got a serious leadership problem. But people don't want us to say it. They don't want us to talk about George Weah. We should talk about the Senate, the representative. But I would say this, from my little sense in my history, if you think that our legislatures are bad now, those days they were worse. But we had leaders that were still taking care of the people. During Todman time, let me start with Todman time, according to what they say and what we read about Todman. Todman did everything, no matter what. He makes sure that the people gets paid. If the money is not there, Tottenham will rally around and get the money to pay his civil servant because he don't want no trouble. He take care of his chiefs. He take care of because there was no social media. Nobody knew what was really going in Monrovia. Even July 26th, only few people, the elite, will actually attend program. We stay home, we enjoy ourselves with the woman then cook and us. That's all. Talk about the same thing. And we all go watch ELTV channel 8 or 5 or channel 6. We just watch TV. 12 o'clock, TV closed, everybody go to bed. You know what I'm saying? So that is what we're doing until we got rid of Talbot. We got rid of Talbot because based on nepotism and injustice and corruption, it's not that they overthrew Talbot because they hated Talbot. They went after Talbot because of his leadership style. People, it's not because of Talbot. But people could not stand the regime because we had a one-party system under Talbot. Talbot came and changed it. We were trying to adjust, but Liberians were not patient. Then we got rid of him. He had a very good platform. He wanted for Liberia to be up there. Although the system that he met was not an easy thing for Talbot, for Tottenham to break it easily, because the party was running the country, Mark the Sheep and other people. You see, now we got rid of Talbot. The military came in. The military came in, all enlisted men, all private. Some of them were sergeant. The sergeant was Samuel Doe. All of them were corporal. And there was not, the sergeant was sergeant. But you know that they had another coup, Jebo. But let's forget about that. We really, nobody want to talk about it because Doe then was the one that came in. And what we did, out of ignorance, hatred, because those days, the countrymen were together. The Congo men, it was Congo and country. The countrymen got pissed off and they got rid of the Congo people. People jump in the street. Congo woman born road, military woman born soldier. Everybody starts singing. We forget about the wonderful God. To tell God, thank you, listen, we are okay. But we don't forgive in a sense. We tried these guys in 6 months. We put them on firing squad. We got rid of 13 ministers. That was 13 families that we destroyed. And what we did, they were killed because of corruption. Listen, I'm bringing that part up. They were executed because of corruption. They say rampant corruption, this and that. It's treason. They were killed because of corruption. Doe came to power and they started the same thing. They were corrupt. They start building houses. They start doing the same thing the Congo men did. Building on land, doing this, saving money, going abroad, doing all kinds of things. The same thing that we complain about, that we killed Talbot with 13 other family, with mass graves, we started the same thing. The Congo people who left, the past government were not happy. They decided to come and overthrow Doe. People have tried all kinds of different coups, and some of the coups were fake coups, but I believe it was not a fake coup. It was not a fake coup. It was all real coup because no one can just set it up like that. But we Liberians are people that are hard to understand. Liberians can never agree to things. They never agree. Anything that happened in Liberia, that's a lie. So we try. Nobody could overthrow Doe. Ellen Johnson and others, Amos Sawyer, they had all the meetings in America. They put a rebel together. They tried, it failed. They tried the other way. They decided they brought Taylor. Taylor came in, he went there. Taylor stole the show. Ellen Johnson there, he pushed and he said, listen, this is not monkey work, Bible draw. I'm on the ground. So because I'm on the ground, if you man or woman, show up on the ground. We jumped there again. Taylor got rid of a lot of people. Over 250,000 Liberians got killed. Unofficial numbers. Maybe it was 300,000, maybe it was less than 200,000. But innocent people got killed. People who never work in government got killed. People who work in government got killed. People who were at their homes, they got killed. People died because of food. People died because they were cowards. They refused to go out there to look for food. So all kinds of different things happened. And we were in the war. Some of us never came to America in 1979, 1980. Some of us came from a very poor family. It's just God that was in this country. We're not better than the people in Liberia. Let me say this today. The people in Liberia, they got people who are 10 times better than us, but they don't have that opportunity to go to improve their lives or to do anything because there was no future in Liberia for us anymore. No, thank God we had somebody. We have some of our relatives. Some people play lottery. Some people came on as an immigrant and different things. We in America, but we change. No, majority of Liberian people are patriot. They change. No, we got few Liberians who are patriots. Not not because I'm talking, you can just consider me as a patriot. No, you got to. I got to earn it. You got to know what I'm doing. You got to know exactly what I'm doing. Yes, you got to know. They got good Liberians who want to put Liberia first. That is why most of them were sitting on the fence. But thank God I see people coming out nowadays talking because we are saying that enough is enough. Then Charles Taylor came in. All the rebels, they were killing people because they wanted the positions. They came in, they forgot about everything. They started the same corruption. They started the same corruption. Stealing, the president got everything to his convenience. The diamond, the this, the that, every company kind of country is for the president. Because of what? Liberians do not talk. Liberians are cowards. Liberians don't understand what they call freedom because we never pay for freedom. We never pay for freedom like you see Sierra Leone, Ghana, and Kenya. All the guys in Ethiopia are the same thing. And that's why Ghana can always say they're the first independent nation. All these people understand what they call freedom. Even India that we order them today, we order the India 100 years different. They understood. They know what is freedom. Freedom is not free. Freedom is not something you buy by cash. Sometimes you lose lives. You lose lives. Backup Matthews, other people fought for multi-party. Where are they today? People tell them all around. We don't want to hear them. They're Liberians. We push around. We push our brains, our educated or our most experienced people. We feel discouraged so quick about them. Both people are nothing. Both people are useless. Both people lie to because you know what? That's truth. They got educated people who are corrupt. They got educated people who are honest. They got educated people who are criminals, who are killers. They got educated people who are not part of it. They got educated people with clean hands. They got educated people who are not. You know what I'm saying? But it got so bad until the educated men telling educated people that, oh, the educated people fool us. They lie to us. That gave rise to people who don't have it to get into leadership. And the same educated people, because the ones that who are in government, who are the most educated people, it's not that they're not educated, they know what they were doing, but they were only there for their own selfishness to save money. But they were not even saving money. All the money were in Ray-Ban. So now they know the people of Liberia don't need them anymore. They started to look for the most popular man. Who can we use? Who can we look for to wrap our hands around when Judy Bryant government were getting ready to get out? They said, oh, we got this guy. He's the most popular guy in the country. He come to Liberia. Everybody want to see him and whatsoever. George Weah. We can make George Weah president. We can make him president no matter what. All the scholars, so-called ones, Samuel Twer, all the guys, they can talk. They got sugar on the tongue. They know how to control the Queen's language. Moving around, having all the different meetings. Even Ellen met George Weah and Kofi Wu, George Weah, and all the guys, Bromsky, George Weah. Everybody wanted for George Weah to go as a VP. Everybody. Finally, when they say, oh, George go with VP, they say, oh, no, why you can go with VP as to George? At that time, some of us came around. We came around to do other stuff, but we're not there just to do it, but to understand, to listen, to know what we're going behind. What we're doing is if it's right. But some of us was fast and smarter than them to know that the individual that we're trying to surround ourselves with, we were damaging him instead of helping him. Because we started with it too much gossip, and we started with, we will make you. No, that will make you, you can do it. But what we forgot to do, we never train him. You know, the white man can look at a politician or one of the popular guys and say, we can train this guy to be a leader. Then they will start telling you what to do. They will say, when you're there, you do this, you do that. You got to listen. You got to listen to people, or do you dare to make your own decision? But you got to listen to people. If you're doing wrong, we got to tell you, country first. Country first. If they put all citizens together, you got one vote. You alone can never vote for yourself. It's like a teamwork. It's politics. It's not corporation to say you got it and you there to make all the decisions. But we never did it. Instead, when Joshua won't talk, they say, sit down, we'll talk for you. Oh, Joshua, I need to, because the same educated people now have switched over to Joshua. They're telling the rest of the people who are not educated that educated people fool you. You see how bad? The educated ones who mess up the country switch over to Joshua. For Joshua to be the light. For Joshua to be the man they put in the front. And they are saying, telling people that the educated people fool us. So what you expect the man who never went to school? The only thing he know, they saw themselves in Joshua. Oh, the man who came, the man who, yes, used to play for IE from there and went professional. I will not call Barrow because technically in Joshua never registered with Barrow in the league. But Barrow still trying to force himself. And he never played a year. He played an all-season game. I think one or two. It was not on an LFA. Now, he went professional whatsoever. So all the young people see themselves in Joshua. Oh, we love Joshua. Oh, Joshua love this country. He can come around. But now today we asking other people, what you did for Liberia, what have you done that you want to be president? What you did? When the war were on, you never came around. But guess what? When the war were on in Liberia, when Amos Sawyer were in charge, that's true. Joshua then came to play football. Joshua then came to play football. Joshua, Salensa, Joe Nambe, all the guys, patriots, they came down because the country was safe. They ever went beyond Chancellor land? Nope. The country was safe. Joshua spoke one time. They had an interview, and he talked to, they asked him question concerning Liberian war. And he appealed that the people should bring peacekeepers whatsoever to help Liberia. Did Joshua ever attended the peace accord as a patriot, as a concerned Liberian who got the money can fly anywhere? Did Joshua, but other ordinary Liberians went there. They went there. You think Joshua in the politics? No, you're not in the politics. Did Joshua ever came to Liberia during the war under Amos Sawyer administration to show up and purchase rice, 200 bags of rice, and divided it with his people? No. I challenge anyone that. Did Joshua ever came around on Christmas Day and say, listen, I want to have a party for the young children, for all the kids? Did Joshua did it? No. Did Joshua ever went to Gibraltar? Or let's just say PHP, where I used to dress, where people used to go there and give Joshua money? He ever put a well there to say, I spent $200 to dig a well or to put a well in Claratown while the people are going through hard time? No. Then what Joshua did? We overrate Joshua. We make up the story for Joshua. Joshua never told us that he was going to do this. People lie, say Joshua went in refugee camp. I went to refugee camp. People lie, say Joshua visited refugee camp. If he sleep there in the night, because a high profile man like Joshua will go to a refugee camp and nobody knows, nobody see him. Okay, all that. But we still telling other people what you did. We still telling other people who left the country to work, to help their family. Other people are in contact with other people. They don't have to be in contact with the whole nation. There is nowhere that when I get money, I need to help Liberia. No, I do it out of my own by myself. Out of generosity, I help people. I don't have to do it. It is not a responsibility, or it's not to say you got to do it. No, you don't have to. But at the same time, I got a right to say I want to run for something to give back. I want to give back my expertise. I want to help my people. I don't need to pay people way. I don't need to give people physical cash. I don't tell you, say, this is what we can do. When I get there, I see this. I got this idea. We need good leadership. Maybe we don't have a leadership. But we ask them, what you will do for us? What you will do for us? Instead of us asking our politicians, tell me what you think you can do better than John Brown, who was just there. What can you do better than George Weah? What can you do better than Ellen Johnson? But we kept all our politicians in the back. But let me be able to understand, things have changed. Different times, different measures. Nobody just going to ride onto the presidency easily. You know what I'm saying? George Weah got there. George Weah didn't tell her anything. George Weah just started talking about rules. George Weah just started taking his plan out of his head with no paper, no development plan, no economic, no plan at all. It took them 9 months to come up with a pro-poor agenda. When you read it, it's good. The pro-poor agenda, when you read what they got in there, it's fine. But they implemented it? No. Because Liberians as a whole never respect anything they put on paper. We pretend. We know the theory, not the practical. We can explain how it's going to be like, how we're going to do this, how we'll do this one, but we never implement it. When we finish, we put it down. Even in the Librarian Association, all the Librarian organizations will do the same thing. You might find this man who is so good, he's the only one killing himself. He will clean up this as leader. That's it. Rest of the people will give you the finger. But you see, in Liberia, they're taking paid, so they're enjoying it. They ever talk about it? No. They didn't say anything. 9 months, they're struggling, worrying about Ellen Johnson left a bad economy. You already told us on the day you gave your speech, your annual, your inaugural message. The first day the president took office, he told us that he took over a broken economy. Listen, this person know that they're taking over a broken economy. Then what was the plans? You president, we don't care. The people expectation was high. You told them, you promised them. But when you promise people in life, you're very careful. If you know it is hard, you come back to them and tell us, say, listen, I promise you that we're going to put a road down to pave this road. But government is still looking for money. The people understand you. Listen, I said I was going to make sure all the high schools in this country are free. But government is still struggling. But let the people believe you, because I cannot see you living like a king and then you telling me things are hard. No. Nobody will believe you. Nobody will believe you to say that things are hard, my man. But you see with the flashy cars, you go in with private jets. You walk in now, you put your hand in your pocket. You don't shake nobody's hands anymore. You give everybody 20 feet away from you. You the Bekube, you the man, the king. Your hands are all in your pocket. You only do like this so people, hi, how are you? You don't want to be bad. Everybody want to kill you all of a sudden. Everybody want to kill you. People are all there. The most loved man in the country. They love you so much. But today, they want to kill you. You see, carry on deals behind back door and all kinds of things. This government causes its own problem. Because when you worry about achieving, you do not perform. If you worry about achieving what you want to do, and the time has not reached for you to even get to the end yet, it's hard. It's hard. You try to look for all the best things that you met there, and you want to switch it on your name. But when the bad ones, you don't want to be part of it. You want to be part of government continues. We don't have problem. But when you start telling us, it's like you have started running campaign already for 2023. And you see, you can't do that. And then money getting missing, and then you're making a bad decision. That is why we say all decision is not right. No decision is right until it is right. You made a decision to bring in $25 million to take out excess dollars to bring all the money back into the bank. Your blunder. That was a decision that you're not too sure whether it's going to work out. And it blunder. Now, what you do as a leader, take responsibility. I thought we were going to do this. But the people who gave me the advice, because you alone cannot make that decision. You alone. And one of the problems we're having here, we elected Joshua. Eugene Namwe, Twe, all the guys were not elected. They're not, we don't want to hear from them. If Twe is only talking about finance ministry, okay. But you telling us on a broad issues that government, the man who is the head, small little country like Liberia, with less than 5 million people, we got to listen to Eugene Namwe talking. Even Donald Trump, who the sedition love, he don't do it. He don't do that. He don't do that. And before I continue, I want to say congratulations, and most of you guys will be having your papers. I see some people said that Josh. Look, CDC love all the good things. And listen, Josh, we have paid my rent. Josh, we have paid my children's school fees. You know, these are some of the things I want to hear. Josh, we have sent money for me to buy my car. Congratulations. Josh, we have sent letter to uh, 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 Donald Trump, asking Donald Trump to give you guys papers. The seditionists who are in America who don't have papers. Most of you guys never have papers. But thank God, now it's from all the way to 2014. If you are here after 2014, start getting married now. But George Weah called Donald Trump and said, please give my people paper, especially the sedition. Give them paper. And Donald Trump said, okay. But how can Donald Trump approve when the House and the Senate do not? It came from the House approved it, they give it to the Senate, long time. It's not for Liberians alone. It's not for Liberians. The House passed it, and they gave it to the Senate, and the Senate passed it. It never just came from Republicans to Donald Trump. Y'all get it right. Y'all got to be smart. Only Liberians are the dumbest people on earth of Jew, and there will be sedition. The House passed it, gave it to the Senate. The Senate went through it, and they pushed it to him to sign. But I see sedition going around, jumping all over the place. Some of the sedition are Republicans too, you know that. Oh, you see, Democrat ain't do nothing for us. Democrat ain't do this. Democrat, and Donald Trump get up paper. No, George, we are called Donald Trump. The only thing Donald Trump said, okay, I will give CDC paper, but I will not see you because you are corrupt. That's what Donald Trump told him. So at least Joshua gave you guys papers. And congratulations, I'm happy. At least now we can talk now. We can see how you standing. Because most of you guys, when people in Liberia who say, yeah, you're causing crime because you're in one for American to deport you. And I said it. I said, America will not deport Liberians easily. If you are a criminal, they will deport you. If you are a criminal, they will deport you if you're a criminal. If you put yourself in all kinds of mess, it's up to you. So that thing they just did, you have to go to immigration. You have to put in for it. If you get record, so well, we can help you. If you get bad records, we can help you, my friend. That one we try our best. Thank God the people pass it. So George, we have talked to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump decided that he will give it to you. Yeah. So we give George the glory. Since that what you guys want, we give it because I see sedition coming on Facebook. Why are we looking so? You even see Spanish people, all these people they're talking about it. Because you got the message late. You got it late. But thank God George we had talked to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump gave everybody people with no help from the Democrat, the Senate, or the House. But let us be smart. We are not smart. That is why Liberia is still backward. Now, we come to some of the ills. Christmas around the corner. Christmas is on Wednesday. This government doing everything they want to pay. this government have decided to print additional money. But the thing is that because this government lies so much, you don't even know if that's true. Maybe that money was backdated already. They say, listen, just backdate the money and print the money. They gone to another place. The same president who said that they should take money from the National Bank, now they authorize them to print $4 to $5 billion to meet up with salaries. It's like you just go print money. I want to ask you, just imagine if Liberia was actually having a machine to print, like the way America prints their own money, but still America is saying that they are in debt. America printing their own money. America, they do their own thing. America and I think America and England, they print their own money if I'm mistaken, if I'm wrong. But I know America, nobody prints America money. Just imagine if Liberia had the opportunity to print their own money. You know that we'll be printing money every month to pay people. We don't care. We just print, 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 print. We'll just be printing. We don't care. We lack accountability. We do. Joshua talk about transparency. You ask, by the time you say this about Joshua, sedition say, how about Ellen? And Ellen did it too. By the time you say this, by the time you say, oh, the government did this, and Ellen did it too, and then everything that happened on Joshua in Joshua administration is the first time. It's the first time for Liberian government to get bosses from India. That's the first time that the record he broke. But Eddie Johnson, they brought the same Tata boss from England, from India. Samuel Doe brought Renault, I think from France. Why? We built Samuel Doe built the modern market ever in the history of Liberia. 3-story building. Joshua built a little flat in Oro. They said it was the best market ever. One of the best. Joshua built a hospital, all one flat, like a barrack house, one flat. They said that's the best hospital. But Ellen built one in Nima County. So I don't know. You guys are worried about Joshua achieving than doing the work of the people. Joshua built houses in Point 4.